Fortunes change fast in football, and in recent years, Reading and Leicester have experienced every possible emotion.
It's all over for Leicester City. They are a Premier League club. Leicester will play in the third tier of English football.
Reading are down.
This season, the Royals under Brendan Rodgers are finding it tough going in the Championship. But League One champions Leicester are on the up. A win tonight would see them in the top 6 under Nigel Pearson. Well, the honeymoon period didn't last long for Brendan Rodgers, who jumped ship from Watford to return to Reading, where he was previously academy director. Hasn't seen his side win at home yet. It's now 9 months since they did that. Home and away, they've lost their last 3 on the bounce. And tough tonight because the visitors are Leicester City, in good form, who've conceded just 1 in their last 4 games. We're live here on Sky Sports 1 and in high definition on HD1, channel 408. Top 3 this time last season. This time round, it's bottom 3 for Reading. Only Ipswich and Plymouth keep them off the foot. Only a win will get them out of the bottom 3 tonight at Peterborough's expense. Leicester City start the evening in 10th, where they will stay with a defeat or a draw. A win, though, would catapult them right up into the playoff places. It's 14 games and counting since Reading won here at the Medeski Stadium. Quite simply, the worst run in their entire league history. And to think it's only 2 seasons since they were beating the likes of Liverpool and Everton here in the Premier League. Tough tonight, though, as we've said, against Leicester City. They've lost only once away from home since March, and that at the league leaders, Newcastle United. Our guests tonight, Peter Beagrie and the Coventry City manager, Chris Coleman. Chris, it all seems very tight in this league this season. Is it getting tougher?
It's hard league. It's hard league every year, but I think when you saw Newcastle, Borough, West Brom, the likes of those teams coming from the Premier League, we thought it was going to be a harder season. It's very unpredictable. Teams are very inconsistent, ourselves included. Anybody can beat anybody on the day, and I think that's what makes it an exciting league.
Peter, Reading relegated 2 years ago. We saw them here almost clinch automatic promotion, then just missed out on the playoffs. Do you expect them to be up there fighting this time round?
I think we did, because you look at the squad and they've still got some quality there. A bit surprised the likes of James Harper's out on loan, that when he's such a pivotal player for them, but I still look at the squad and think they've got some very good players. The home form's obviously a massive cause of concern, and that's why we'll see them tonight probably try and readdress the negativity around the place by putting confident individuals who'd like to get on the ball to try and get the crowd going, because the home form is dismal.
Have you been surprised, Chris, by the surge of Leicester City, champions last year in League One?
I wasn't surprised. I know Nigel very well. He's a good manager. He's done a great job there. They were too good for the division they were in last year. And they've come up with a bit of momentum, like you see a lot of teams do that when they get promotion, but he's added some good players also. He's got a good squad, Nigel. He's assembled a good squad of players, and I think they'll keep it going, Leicester. I don't think by any means that they're a surprise. I imagine them out. I don't want to put any extra pressure on Nigel, but I imagine that they would do well this year, and he's not disappointed anybody.
Difficult times here at Reading. You can sometimes measure that by the number of changes a manager makes. He made 5 for the game against QPR, which they lost 4-1. Another 6 here tonight. Income: Alex Pearce, Ryan Bertrand, Gylfi Sigurdsson, Marek Matejowski, Brian Howard and Grzegorz Raziak. 6 changes. For Leicester City, just 2 changes. As we said, they've been going well. Paul Gallagher scored both goals in their last victory, last time out. He starts. And Martin Waghorn starts as well, with Steve Howard dropping down to the bench. 6 changes, Chris. Is that too many?
I think we'll see after 90 minutes whether or not they get the win or not. But I mean, you probably look at that and think 6 changes. Are there any injuries or suspensions? I don't think
there's one suspension in there.
There's one suspension, and I just think that's Brendan. He's trying to shake things up, and I understand he made 5 changes in the last game. They're looking for that win. I've been there myself, and sometimes
Have you ever made 6?
I unfortunately, I've never had a squad to be able to make 6 changes. But sometimes you can analyse it too much. I've done it myself. And I think as Brendan just tried to shake it up, he's going to go a bit more offensive tonight, trying to get that 3 points.
What does it tell you, Peter?
It tells me that you've got a direct contrast between the two teams. You know, you've got constance in the Leicester side, 4 or 5 right throughout the spine, and that's what this league rewards. You know, consistency. Consistency with the team selection usually leads to consistency in results, and I think that's what Leicester's done in direct contrast to Reading.
Well, let's hear from the man in the spotlight, Brendan Rodgers with Greg Whelan.
Brendan, you've made 6 changes tonight, only 1 of them enforced. Tell us your thinking.
We were looking anyway at our home form over the last, since January we haven't won a game. So just really trying to be more attacking and, as I said, and look to offer more of a threat going forward. So the players that we brought in are those types. So we're hopeful that will, as I said, maybe hopefully put an end to this home record.
You mentioned the home record. To what extent do you sense that might be starting to really get to the players?
I don't think it's not getting to them, but it certainly can become a burden. We've played really well here at home and just not got the results. So we just hope that tonight will be a good night for us, and we've picked an attacking lineup, so we're hoping that can hopefully will make the difference.
How important is a positive result here tonight for the players and for you personally?
Yeah, well, it's certainly not. It's not a must-win game. There's 33 games to go, including tonight. But it's a game that we'd want to win. We just feel that we really want to kick-start the season, and we've played well enough. Been disappointing in our last couple of performances, but if we can get a performance and result tonight, then we'll be very confident that we can hopefully kick on from that.
You say you still believe in your methods. Has the recent run caused you to have a rethink, to think there might be a need for a change?
No, not really, no. I've done exactly the same as what I've done here in the 10 weeks I've been here. So nothing at all. We just keep working and working hard and working well, and as I said, I'm very hopeful and as I said, in that luck changing tonight.
Brendan, thanks for your time.
Cheers, thank you.
Looks relaxed, doesn't he? And very emotive programme notes from Brendan Rodgers tonight, by the way, defending the way he's gone about his business and saying he's going to carry on in the same manner. The appointment, Peter, took a few people by surprise. There were some big names in the frame. What did you think of Brendan Rodgers being the next Reading manager?
Well, I think it was all to do with the fact that, there were going to be cost-cutting measures. He'd been a success here at the time, was very, very high regarded before he was headhunted by Chelsea and went. So I think from the top they were going to go with a little bit more of the youth, because he had that affinity with them. I think that was a lot of to do with the appointment.
In some ways, Chris, you think it was a bit of a poisoned chalice, given that Steve Coppell's been here for 6 years and 6 largely successful years?
Well, he's got a lot to answer for, Steve, hasn't he? I saw him the weekend. He's done such a great job here, and I think whoever took over after Steve was going to have a hard job. I think I wonder what the team was that won here last, and the changes to the team that's going to play tonight. I would imagine there's been a lot of changes. And
I think there's one survivor.
There's one survivor. Well, there you go. So, and I think that the next manager that came in after Steve was always going to be tough. And he's only been there a short while, Brendan, and I think he's good enough to turn it round. I hope he doesn't turn it around by the weekend, because they come to the commentary. But he'll be okay in the end of the day. He believes in himself, and he'll be all right.
We should point out, by the way, that problems are not all of Brendan Rodgers doing, particularly here at the Medeski Stadium, where Steve Coppell failed to win his last 8 games, and perhaps that ultimately cost them promotion last season. Well, someone who's seen all the changes here is Shane Long. 4 seasons, he's just 23 years old, doesn't make the starting lineup tonight, but he's seen the highs and he's seen the lows, as Greg Whelan reports.
Shane Long was catapulted into English football during Reading's Championship title-winning season in 2006. 3 years later, he's one of only 3 players from that squad who remain at the club.
It is a big difference, I think, with the players going. I think when you look at the players that have gone, the experience they have with Kevin Doyle, Leroy Lita, Dave Kitson, James Harper, Graham Murphy, they're all big players in the club, and Reading was kind of built around them for the last few years. But at the same time, there's younger players that have come in that are more than well able to step up to the plate, and by the end of the season you'll see a few good emerging talents.
He joined Reading when he was only 18 years old. He'll forever be grateful to his former manager, Steve Coppell.
a lot of people wouldn't have taken a gamble on me, but I think at the time he came to look at Kevin Doyle and spotted me as well and decided to give me a chance, and for that I'm going to be forever grateful for him. I came over, I'd only played about 10 minutes in the Irish League, so I was a bit of an unknown player, and to get a chance like he gave me was a massive thing.
After Steve Coppell left this summer, Reading turned to Brendan Rodgers. Long has nothing but praise for his new manager.
He's so many ideas, he's a total different way of looking at the game to what I'm used to, and it's brilliant for me as a player as well. I learn every day under him. Training is intense every day, it's never the same thing in training. Everybody comes to training looking forward to train because they know what to change from what we done yesterday kind of thing, and it's a pity we're not winning games to back all that up, because behind the scenes in training and stuff, he's a great manager.
Rodgers has a big task on his hands. The heady days of the Premier League seem a long way off for a team who are yet to start firing.
I think we're not gelling as a team as much as we'd like, and I think teams are finding it a bit too easy to play against us sometimes, and it's just simple little things that need to be rectified for us to crack on in the Championship. But I honestly can't put my finger on it, because we're training hard. The players are giving it their all on the pitch, but it seems like the harder we try, the worse we're playing, and I think we just need to take a step back and relax and just be confident in our own ability to win games. It's hurting everybody at the moment. We all want to do better and to change things around, and hopefully we can do that on Monday against Leicester. It's going to be a hard game, but that's what we're aiming to do.
It's a key game for you, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It's a massive game for us, and I think we need to change it around sooner rather than later, or else we might get stuck in a hard battle down in relegation, and nobody wants to be involved in that.
He was obviously trying too hard. He's been dropped tonight, one of 6 changes that Brendan Rodgers has made. But it's interesting listening to him, Peter. It sounds like they love the manager.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's a shame that obviously that optimism and how it's benefit the players hasn't reflected. It's a results-based industry, Dave, and another lad there who should be sharing the brunt, really.
There's talent all the way through this team, though, isn't there?
And that's the worry as well when they're not performing to their optimum, because it is a decent squad, as we've said before. And my worry would be that we've got to the 12-game mark. Usually it's the magic 10, and people are deciding whether or not and get a little bit nervous and about changing the manager. So let's hope they've got faith in him, as the players seem to have.
Talking about this being a season of upheaval, Chris, but you wouldn't mind a squad like that at your disposal, would you?
I won't mind the numbers, for certainly. I think Peter's right, this is a strong squad, and I think maybe it's just because it's a new manager after Steve Coppell. It's taken a bit of time, but they've certainly got a good squad. They're just showing Raziak, Shane Long, Bart on the under-21 fullback there. They've got some very good players here. Jay Tab, who was at Coventry with me, they've got a squad full of players that can compete at this level for sure.
And the mood can, of course, all change with a victory here for Reading tonight. Next up, though, we're in the Leicester City camp, and their top scorer last season, Matty Fryatt, determined to prove himself in the Championship.
Everything felt good last season, but I wanted to continue that this season, proving to myself that I can do it and perform against players of a higher level, and even kick on past this league into the next league, which I want to be part of this team that's going places.
Monday night, live.
Time of our lives tonight features Coventry's 1987 Cup-winning side. Jeff with Dave Bennett, Brian Kilcline and Keith Houchin, 10:15, Sky Sports 1. Current Coventry manager Chris Coleman with us, by the way, this evening. And some interesting team news from the Reading camp. 6 changes from the side that lost 4-1 at QPR. There is a new captain at centre-half, Alex Pearce, who hasn't featured in any of the last 5. An entire new spine, Marek Matejowski, comes in the centre of midfield, hasn't featured in any of the last 5. And leading the line, Grzegorz Raziak, who hasn't started any of the last 4. A lot simpler for Nigel Pearson, whose Leicester side beat Crystal Palace 2-0 last time out. Paul Gallagher scored both as a half-time sub and starts tonight from the left of midfield. Replacing Steve Howard up front is 19-year-old Sunderland striker Martin Waghorn, on loan at Leicester City. His strike partner, the top scorer, Matty Fryatt, 7 goals already this season and very much enjoying his football under Nigel Pearson.
Last year was a massive one, really. At the same time, contract was running out. Coming back in for pre-season last year, not really knew where I stood. Obviously, new manager in. And he was brilliant with me from day one. He said, "You're a good player, you just need to believe in yourself." And from that moment, he's played me non-stop. Whenever I've needed anything or just a little word, he's said that and sort of let me get on with it, but at the same time, sort of looking after me. But not so much an arm around the shoulder, just being there for guidance if I needed it.
What is his managerial style?
I think with the players, everyone knows where you stand with this manager. He's very professional, everything he does is correct. He's got an overall picture of things. Everyone around him knows what they're doing. He doesn't just look at old things, new things and mixes it up. And all the stuff is like stable and the players have taken it to it from minute one really.
With 7 goals so far in this campaign, to what extent do you feel you've begun to answer that old question about your ability at this level?
Yeah, I think from last season, the amount of goals and everything and sort of being able to be voted sort of the league's best player, that's a nice accolade, and I was getting accolades not just from obviously scoring the goals but the way the team were playing. Everything felt good last season, but I wanted to continue that this season, sort of not be a flash in the pan and sort of go on to the form that I know I'm capable of doing and getting the goals and sort of proving people wrong to a point, but proving to myself that I can do it and perform against players of a higher level and even kick on past this league into the next league, which I want to be part of this team that's going places.
In what ways do you feel you're a better player now than you were when you were last playing at Championship level?
Just a bit wiser, a bit more confident, and gone through those experiences, know sort of what it was like and sort of never get back to that stage again, sort of build on the opportunity I've got now.
Given the start you've made, given the feeling within the camp, what do you feel Leicester can achieve this season?
We've got the squad, we've got the players, we've got the management. There's nothing to be scared of. We've been to Newcastle, Middlesbrough and played well, and they're going to be the ones near the top. Got the confidence behind us to really achieve something.
32 goals last season, that's amazing, isn't it, at any level? 7 already this. Chris, were you ever tempted?
He's a good player, Matty. I think he was too good for the league he was in last year. He's been in the Championship before, not had such a good time. He's always scored goals, but not as prolific as he was last year. But he's a goal scorer, he knows where the net is.
Is he more than a goal scorer, though, now, Peter, as well?
Well, it's interesting, he mentioned the word confidence 3 or 4 times there. He is, and when he's in confident, you can use him as a rebound service. It really surprised me last year because I thought he lacked a couple of yards of pace to do well at this level. But one of my worries was not that would he score goals in this level, would they create enough chances? And with the formation that they've got, they've certainly done that.
He obviously has great faith, though, given that he leaves out Steve Howard for an away game and partners him with Martin Waghorn.
I think Steve Howard will figure at some point in this game. They did it against us, and he's armed for Steve Howard. Great experience, great target man, and they very much, when he comes on, they play to him directly, and then they play off that. Matty fry it, Waghorn coming in from outside left. So they've got good options, and he obviously has a lot of belief in young Waghorn, who's a good player.
There is Nigel Pearson with Greg Whelan.
Nigel, 21 points from your first 13 matches. How has the start you've made matched up to your own expectations?
We've done pretty well, I think, so far. Our performances haven't always been as good as we would like, but we knew the league was going to be very competitive, and I think so far we've shown that, along with a number of other sides, we've got a chance of having a decent season. But you only have to look at the league table to see how tight it is right the way down. So we've got to make sure that we continue in the same sort of vein that we've started, really.
You've brought back Paul Gallagher tonight up front for Steve Howard. What does he bring you that's different? Why that particular option?
Well, again, I mean, we've got real competition for places throughout the side, which is good. We don't currently have a lot of injuries, so it means that, like I say, competition is very keen, and it gives me options to make changes. And I think for every game that we play, it's about trying to pick a side that we feel is best suited for that particular game. But I'd rather have the selection. They're not problems at all. They're selection issues, if you like. And just feel tonight that this could be the right side for us.
You're still in negotiation to sign Edgar Davids. What's the latest? Are you any closer at this stage to striking a deal?
There's nothing further to add at this point in time. But I'm sure we'll soon find out.
Thank you, Nigel.
Okay, pleasure.
Could be interesting. Edgar Davids in the Championship, but not just yet. Not tonight, sadly. The phrase we often hear about Leicester City, Peter, is they're very organised. Are they better than that, though?
They are better than that. They're organised, they're competitive, they've got real quality. He spent the money wisely, he spent a couple of £1 million, picked up players, you know, for bargains as well. And the big money signing was really Richie Wellens, and he's a great player to have in your side. He demands the ball in pressurised situations, good distribution, and he makes them tick. But you know, they are organised, but they've got strength in depth and they've got real options. And Chris alluded to it, that they're not problems really. You know, they are options and alternatives, and you need them because the game changes in every single minute.
He's a very solid character, isn't he, Nigel Pearson? In some ways, was he what Leicester City needed after 18 months of upheaval?
I think so, yeah. You know, he came in, he's, like Matty Fry had said, he's no airs or graces, very professional. He's very clear in what he wants. He doesn't change the formation, rarely. All the players know what they're doing. I'd be interested to see that balance tonight with King in the centre of midfield with Wellens. I think Peter's right, he's a good player, Wellens, from Doncaster, and it's a good balance with him and King, so I think that'll be interesting tonight.
So we have an idea of what to expect from Leicester City. Really, we have no idea what to expect of Reading tonight, which is what makes this game so fascinating. Your match commentators, Don Goodman and Bill Leslie.
Yes, just what is that winning blend for Reading? This is what Brendan Rodgers is hoping will work tonight. It involves 6 changes from the Queen's Park Rangers defeat and a diamond midfield as well. There's no Ivor Ingemarson after his red card at Loftus Road, but Ryan Bertrand, the on-loan Chelsea defender, is back in after concussion. Elsewhere, Darren O'Dea, he's on loan from Celtic, but he's got a groin injury, so Alex Pearce returns and he captains the side tonight. Scoring goals as well as keeping them out has been a problem, so Grzegorz Rajak gets another go after 4 games out of the side. Marek Matejowski is back in after 5 out, also drafted in Brian Howard and Gylfi Sigurdsson. Hard-earned win against Crystal Palace was Leicester's last action. Paul Gallagher's first goals for the club ensured a 2-0 win. It also ensures a place in the starting lineup tonight. Elsewhere, Northern Ireland international Ryan McGibbon impressed enough last week to keep his place this. Matt Fryatt, one of the Championship hotshots, responsible for almost half of the Foxes' goals this season. He's without 1 in 5 now and partnered tonight by Martin Waghorn, the teenager on loan from Sunderland. Most of this Reading bench made up of players inherited by Brendan Rodgers from Steve Coppell. Sean Cummings the exception, another of those on loan from Chelsea. And if the Reading defence are feeling a little brittle, the last man they'll want to see coming on is the human battering ram, Stephen Howard. Well, no doubt about it, these are testing times for Reading. Upwardly mobile for most of this decade, from the 3rd tier to the brink of Europe in the Premier League. But after relegation on goal difference from the Premier League 2 years ago, playoff failure last season, there's real concern for the first time in a while at the Medeski. Can they stop the rot? We'll find out in a moment.
Monday night, live.
Can Reading finally put an end to their Medeski nightmare? They're up against Leicester City here on Sky Sports 1 and in high definition HD1 channel 408. Match commentators Don Goodman and Bill Leslie.
Well, the win's elusive, and that is largely because the goals have been elusive here at the Medeski for Reading this season. Matthew Mills in the elite band of 2, along with the Polish striker Grzegorz Rajak. They're the only 2 players to have scored a league goal at this stadium this season. What Reading would give for someone as prolific as the man they are up against tonight, Matty Fryatt. Only the Cardiff pair of Michael Chopra and Peter Whittingham have scored more Championship goals than him this season. So Reading the side with the worst home form in the Championship, bar none. A record-breaking run without a home win, starting back to the very beginning of their league tenure in the 1920s. Leicester at the other end of the spectrum, one of the hardest sides to beat in this league. No one has lost fewer games than the Foxes. A side in the blue and white hoops so desperate to stop the rot, and they've got one of the toughest and most resilient acts up against them tonight, Don, to try and do it.
Well, they most certainly have, Leicester City. Nigel Pearson has got this team extremely well organised.
Well, a good start would be lovely, and McAnuff tries to deliver it for Reading.
Well, I think when you're a team that's low on confidence, and Reading obviously have been, I think it's important that you get off to a good start. It's a nice diagonal ball, it's flicked on, and he reads it well, McAnuff, doesn't he? Hits the target. It's a little bit tame, if you're honest, but it's a positive start, and that's what they needed.
Well, every manager, Don, I'm sure, would love to name a settled side, to have players available. Suspensions, injuries biting as we reach the 14-game mark of the Championship season now, but 6 changes. What does that do to a dressing room?
Well, I think what that spells out is that the manager's not particularly sure about which his best 11 is. I don't think it can afford to take too much longer. Obviously, Brendan Rodgers had a little bit of time now. He's still searching for that elusive, consistent winning formula.
They have won 2 games this season, Reading. It could be worse off, but the results at the weekend mean that they do drop into the bottom 3 of the table, only Plymouth and Ipswich below them. And that's always a psychological blow that no club likes, whatever stage of the season you're at. The young Northern Irishman Ryan McGiven angles that forward towards Fryatt.
Well, if that was Stephen Howard, you would expect Matty Fryatt to be winning the aerial battles, but it's not, and that would cause me a little bit of concern if I was in the Reading camp.
McAnuff certainly stretching his legs early on down this right, and Wayne Brown with a typically tenacious challenge. It's a match that's got plenty of interest from the rest of the Managers' Union. Harry Redknapp enjoying himself, and his former number 2 at Portsmouth, Tony Adams, and his successor, of course, Steve Cotterill, the former Burnley manager there as well. Well, perfect conditions for a Monday night out. Nice mild evening, no rain, barely a breath of breeze, and the pitch is pretty good when you consider there were 30 big uns from Rugby Union running around on it just 48 hours ago. Steadiness and solidity personified, really, as a defender, and he was on the pitch and from the dugout. Exudes calm, and it's very borne out by the way they approached their first season in the 3rd tier and got on with it without much fuss and got promotion and the title at the first time of asking, and also the way they've taken to life back at this level, Don.
It was a magnificent effort, wasn't it, all round, both respects.
Slightly skewed effort there, which will allow Bertrand to get it clear. Back in after he got a nasty blow to the head in the defeat at West Bromwich Albion. Jack Hobbs, the former Liverpool defender. Here's Richie Wellens, brought in to toughen up the squad for the Championship. Paul Gallagher. And Reading able to break it up. Again, they look to McAnuff, but they're wise to that now, Leicester. They don't want to let the former Crystal Palace and Watford man use his pace to run at them.
He's a talented lad, isn't he, on his night? Reading, players like him, they need to get on the football, Reading, tonight.
He's one of those, Joby McAnuff, who comes under the category of unfulfilled potential. On his day, he's close to the unplayable bracket at this level.
As a match winner, he's been proved over the seasons on his day. He can win matches almost single-handedly. He's one of those players that can make things happen out of absolutely nothing.
That's one of the keys that Brendan Rodgers is looking for to unlock the potential from his new signings. No goals yet for Joby McAnuff. Did start off the season with a little bit of an injury. And it's not just these last couple of games, as we mentioned in the build-up to kick-off. 5 changes going into that defeat at Queen's Park Rangers. Another 6 tonight. And players have been in and out throughout as this elusive, successful formula is sought. 10 points from 13 games is what Reading have managed so far. That one will bounce fairly comfortably through to Federici off Matt Oakley. Plays these days coming in from the right.
We can expect to see a lot more of that. We just saw a diagonal ball from Leicester City, switched all the way out to this right-hand side where little J Tab is playing fullback. And clearly they feel that is an area that they can exploit, Leicester City.
There's good movement up front from Reading. And Brown with a touch back to Chris Wheel, former Bristol City goalkeeper in the Leicester City goal. Nielsen looks long. Here's the captain underneath it. And McGibbon, who's on loan from Manchester City. Gallagher. A spring in the step that scoring goals gives any player. Took the second one particularly well. The first a rebound from a penalty in that win against Palace. Now here come Reading with Howard. It's a good run. In the end, it was Church's shot.
Yeah, I was going to say, once he gets this ball, there's only one thing in his mind, and that's to run at that Leicester City rear guard. He does it really well, doesn't he? Manipulates the space, gets the shot away, gets a little deflection. And once again, it's nice and positive from Reading. It just gives the crowd something to get their teeth into, and that's what these players need.
Well, there are the two men who have scored here, Mills and Rajak, in the league this season. Can the delivery be right? Hobbs did enough, but it glanced away. McAnuff. Gallagher wins the ball. McAnuff's not going to give up the fight, but here's Oakley now. Potential break here for Leicester. Reading do have men back. Nielsen. Wellens. Pierce away. Well, to an extent it's the same in every match, the first goal all important, but with the brittle confidence that Reading have and the way they played, having gone behind in recent games, it's even more the case here. Here's Waghorn to ask questions. Pierce away, but unconvincingly. It'll be angled towards Gallagher. Fryatt lurking, trying to get it to the feet of Gallagher. No offside flag, Reading were looking for it. Oakley in, here's Fryatt. And tried a sneaky one, really pulled it off.
Well, he wants a corner, doesn't he? He is so dangerous with his back to goal. Matt Fryatt heard Peter Beardsley saying about him having a little bit of a lack of pace. He kept himself onside, there's no doubt about that. As the ball comes in, only one thing in his mind, and that's to get that little turn in and try and bend that ball into the far corner. And you'll see whether it gets a deflection or not. It's very hard to tell. Certainly the referee and the officials didn't think so.
Obviously a lot of his league football played in League One last year, but how about this for a record, Matty Fryatt? 40 goals in his last 59 league games.
It's impressive, isn't it? However fast you say it, it's absolutely magnificent. As you heard before the match, he's keen to keep improving. That's what I like about him.
And still only 23. It's a learning curve for him, as well as Leicester as a club during that last championship season. Only got 3 goals. He's on the lookout for another here. Well gathered by Federici.
Just one or two little ominous signs, aren't they? Little balls that are bouncing and ricocheting. It's Leicester City players that are getting on the end of them. It's a good strike by Matt Fryatt, and Adam Federici made that look a little easier than it actually was. A big bounce in front of him that took. He dealt with it well.
McAnuff. Church, blocked by Brown. And Fryatt. Hopefully the runner to his right. And Robbie Nielsen getting forward well. And Reading also getting men back well. Brian Howard, the acquisition from Sheffield United. Bertrand. And Sigurdsson, the Icelandic under-21 international. 6 of this Reading side made up by Brendan Rodgers acquisitions. Well, that's a good ball. It's an excellent ball. Could just open up here. Gregors Rajak. Just dawdled. He wanted too much time.
He did. He wanted to manipulate the ball inside, didn't he? It's a great run. Keeps himself onside. Look, timed to perfection. He's got an opportunity to get one touch and strike that ball with his right foot, and in the end he takes way too much time.
Another chance for a corner against this fairly miserly Leicester City defence. And here the clear call from the keeper. equally clear claim, wasn't it?
You need if you're a defender, isn't it? Goalkeeper that's really confident on the cross ball, dominant verbally and physically. That's what Chris Wheel has supplied at Leicester City this season.
We've got the side that can't score at home against one of the meanest defences around. Just one goal conceded in now a 4-match unbeaten run for Leicester.
It's testament to their organisation, isn't it? You can see that Reading do not want to allow that midfield any room, time or space to settle on the ball.
Nielsen. Jay Tad. 8 games out of the side and then brought back in as a right back ahead of Sean Cummings. On loan from Chelsea, who's on the bench. Wellens. Leicester come here 11 points better off than Reading in the table. They've won 3 games more, lost 5 fewer, scored 4 goals more, but the real difference is in defence. Leicester conceded 11 in their 13 games, Reading 22.
Double, yeah. Recent and Reading as well. The worrying trend for them is that when things don't go their way, that's when they seem to just perhaps feel a little bit sorry for themselves. And the manager, Brendan Rodgers, just made a little bit of reference to that in his programme notes today. They've conceded 3 goals on at least 5 occasions this season.
A lot of those coming late on as well, as the game has got away from them. Essence and Point at Queen's Park Rangers last time out. Well, here's the first set-piece examination for their over-generous defence. Hobbs is there, King in the mix as well. Brown near post. Should be Alex Pearce's, it is.
It doesn't come to much, but again, allowed to get the cross in just a little bit too easily for my liking. The defender's got to get closer to wide players, block those crosses.
Too much on that for McAnuff. It's extraordinary, really, this home run for Reading. They had such a good run, didn't they? Christmas, New Year, looked like they were getting it together to push for automatic promotion back to the Premier League. And there was win here against Wolves in January with the own goal from Neil Collins, and that's the last time they won a game here.
Quite remarkable, isn't it, when you think that they were the final game of the season. If they'd have won it, they'd have been a Premier League team right here, right now, and they seem a million miles away from that at the moment.
Taken by Mills. Here's Bertrand. Leicester wise to all the Reading tricks and bring out a few of their own to release Oakley. Matejowski. And that's what he's in there for, to play behind to try and unlock the door, but he couldn't on that occasion. Gallagher tries to. Reading free kick against Paul Gallagher. Tab. Matejowski, Czech international. Rajak, Polish international, very nearly with the opening goal.
Well, I think it's the fact that he takes this really early, Grzegorz Rasiak, that almost catches Chris Wheel out. Look, one little touch there, and then sure, Chris Wheel is expecting that early shot. And it's just the bend on the ball that that takes it away. It starts off on target and inside that far post, and you can see Chris Wheel is worried about that. Just the curl on the ball. It's a really good effort. Unlucky.
Rajak, one of those who's been brought in from the comparative cold, his first start in 5 games. Did score in his last start, draw against Watford here as well.
It's interesting, on the chance before, he dwelt on it a little bit, didn't he, and dillied and dallied, but no such thing this time. Really quick shot, nearly paid dividends.
Good leap by Gallagher, who you would think would have the beating of Tab in the air time after time. Referee Keith Hill has spotted an infringement in that.
It's hard to really separate who's made the better start, really, of the two teams. 3 attempts each. It's not too bad.
Even Stevens, in fact, the last time they met, a draw was celebrated to the rooftops by Reading. It was at the Walker Stadium. It was a point that was enough to see them promoted to the Premier League for the first time in their history, only 3 years ago. Oh, so much changes so quickly. An astonishing season they put together under Steve Coppell in the Championship that year, only losing 2 games all season. Unthinkable now when you look at everybody beating everyone. Element of unpredictability has come in Reading, the last side to really run away with this league in that way.
It's funny, really, isn't it? Because I felt this season actually started more predictable results-wise than most, but it wasn't long before it settled down into typical Championship unpredictable results.
Yeah, normal service has been resumed, and then some recently. Brendan Rodgers, he talks the talk well, doesn't he? Just can't get that catalyst to get the season started. And we talked about this as being a potential crossroads for them, a win here tonight, and then finally, the games come around so thick and fast generally in the Championship, you can start to build a bit of momentum, but there's been so much negativity booed off against Queen's Park Rangers in their last game by the fans who travelled. To get everyone back on side, everyone pulling in the same direction. There's only one way to do that. 3 points. It's loose here to Waghorn. Fryatt set off. Here's Gallagher. Force wide, Matyjowski dispossesses him by foul means, though.
He's trying to atone for his error because it was he that gave the ball away. A bit over keen, just barges into Matty Fryatt. Not going to get away with that. Once again, cheap free kicks are the last thing you want to be conceding if you're Reading. Their defensive record. 2 big players, Leicester City, they can send forward.
Out goes Wayne Brown, hasn't scored for over a couple of years now. To open his account for Leicester. He's among the gathered party in Gallagher. Dipping ball, which is dealt with comfortably enough by the home side. McGiven. Nielsen. Niels went, he didn't get there. The touch on was from Fryatt. Bertrand looking for Church up front.
All very tight, isn't it? Midfield areas, both teams closing down the opposition, denying space.
In the 20th minute of the match, Brendan Rodgers will be relatively pleased that his latest bit of tactical tinkering seems to be going okay. He's tried so many different formations. Struggle to think of any that he hasn't tried in trying to get things up and running. Here's Tab. Matyjowski. Right, coming back to do the tracking. What a great ball that is. The flag is up. Wouldn't have counted if Rajak had got it in. Looked a tight call as well.
Well, it looked to me like he just about timed it perfect. And the replay's going to reveal that. It's a great little reverse ball, isn't it? It's in a line. I would suggest that he's onside and that the defender has been given the benefit of the doubt. Looked like he timed it to perfection. That's a couple of times now. But he's managed to keep himself onside and just run across the line. There you go. It's the right back, isn't it? Nielsen that's playing him on. And to be honest with you, you have to give credit to Chris Wheel in the goal. He didn't know. He was out like a flash to make a decent save.
But the movement of Rajak laying right on the shoulder there.
He's looked bright, hasn't he?
Yeah.
It's opening exchanges. Handful in the air, isn't he? A physical presence. Decent feet on the ground. He's got goal-scoring history.
Yeah, he might have blown hot and cold at times during his career in the Championship, and of course he had a spell in the Premier League as well, didn't he? At Tottenham. But when he's hot, he is hot. Derby County fans will remember all the goals he got for them during their successful playoff drives in seasons gone by. Here he is again. Big Paul trying to play the assisting role this time. Again, Gallagher easing Tab out of the way. That's one you picked out early on, Don, when we looked at the team sheet. It's a slightly meaty challenge on Mills.
Oh, it's Martin Waghorn, isn't it, chasing back? Shall we say it's a striker's challenge? It's just as he's about to release that ball. He's a bit late, the young fella, isn't he? I think he's a little bit frustrated. He's making a genuine attempt to play the ball, but they collide knees in the end.
Teenage exuberance, perhaps, for Martin Waghorn. And just a warning. Yellow card kept in pocket by Keith Hill.
Well, I'd say that's the right decision.
Well, there's the Queen's Park Rangers manager. Another good win for them at the weekend. And Leicester next up for them. You can see it live with us on Friday, 7:30, Sky Sports 1 and HD1. John Gorman, his wingman, alongside him here at the Medeski tonight.
Still working on that knee, aren't they? I think it was just a clash of knees as Matt Mills was clearing that.
We've been looking back to former managers and the Steve Coppell successful reign. Before that, of course, Alan Pardew, the current Southampton manager, started the rise up through the leagues. Well, it's a manager's night out tonight, isn't it? There's the Cardiff boss. The side going well at the top. They certainly know the way to goal this season, don't they? And Ryan Bertrand, the Reading left-back, is a current England under-21 international. There's his international boss looking on. And we're back underway. Gallagher. Here's McGibbon. It's the sort of energy and commitment that the fans here are responding to. That's what they're looking for. Mills' first real test of that injury there, and surely he's moving as easily as he might do.
Well, they're painful, aren't they, those little knee clashes? It's just every little sort of jar and twist he's going to feel for the rest of this match.
Here's McAnuff, is he in here? Oh, denied by the woodwork, and again McAnuff. When your luck is out, your luck is out. Should have been a corner, and the referee's given a goal kick.
Well, he never saw it, the referee, but great skill, isn't it? Lifts the ball over. It's so unlucky that that ball doesn't end up in the back of the Leicester net, just when you think, and that's the kind of thing that happens. McAnuff does well, he hits the target, bounces back to him, and it just comes off the inside of Ryan McGibbon. Doesn't know anything about it, Ryan McGibbon, and it goes wide for a corner, but the referee doesn't spot the little deflection. Frustrations all round.
It's amazing, isn't it? When your luck is going for you, the breaks you get, and when you are down at the bottom, up against it, everything seems to be conspiring against you. That's how Reading must feel just now.
Did everything right, not once but twice there. Didn't get any rub of the green whatsoever.
Well, it's got the crowd going. It's one thing they haven't always had behind them this season. Before this game, they'd watched over 9 hours of football here. They'd only seen 2 goals for Reading players in the league. The burst from midfield and had to be dug out by Mills.
And once again, I have to tell you, it's Paul Gallagher out-jumping little J Tab at full-back. That is causing Reading 1 or 2 little problems. It was his flick on, it led to Leicester getting in behind there.
Lively atmosphere now at the Medeski. Here's Matthew Mills.
Both Reading strikers turn to the centre half and wave their hands in frustration, because that's not the kind of service that they're going to have any success with whatsoever tonight. Long, high, straight punt up the field.
Up against Chris Wheel, who's kept 3 clean sheets in his last 4 games. Very nearly denied one here. Just the woodwork and the heel of the defender coming to his aid. Gallagher, McGibbon. It's away by Bertrand. Little touch from Church. On again. Chance for Bertrand to get forward. Just showed too much to Robbie Nielsen.
That's a shame. Really good, neat, tidy football, wasn't it, for them to break out, try and turn defence into attack. And you're right, all of a sudden, got the crowd right behind them, Reading. In a little while, that is what they need. And all the support they can get under these difficult circumstances.
Here's Simon Church.
Again, it's nice and neat football. They work the ball into the striker. It's a little half a turn. It's the shot away. Those are the ones that can sometimes be awkward for goalkeepers, the ones that go through defenders' legs. But Simon Church just pulled that one a little bit.
He's tended to score a few goals when he has started, Simon Church. 2 in his last 4 starts. Got one that unlikely win at the time up at Preston. A few sides to go there and get maximum points this season. Peterborough as well, he got one. Here's Wellens. Well, won by Bertrand. He would pass Matejowski, ended up almost having to tackle his own man, Gregor Zraciak. Waghorn stumbling, took it away from Frank Gallagher! He scored one not dissimilar to that against Crystal Palace, just wide this time.
Well, he's got that in his locker. Waghorn tries a turn, he just loses his foot in, but he does well to get it back to Gallagher. And look how close that is. So deliberate, isn't he? He's trying to guide that in and under the bar and inside that post, and he very nearly does it. Man of confidence. Serves as a little warning, doesn't it? A little reminder. Yes, I think Reading have just about enjoyed the lion's share, certainly in attempts here tonight. All of a sudden, one little break and nearly proved their undoing, didn't it?
Enjoying their best spell of the match without any reward for it thus far, Reading. towards Mills. Convincingly away by Brown. Tab. McAnuff. Looks for the return. Gets it from Matejowski. McAnuff. Wheel at full stretch. Got just about enough on it. Now Matejowski again. They want a free kick, Reading. It's not going to come. Matejowski. Terrific work, but straight at the goalkeeper.
Well, they're doing well, aren't they? Reading, kept that ball alive. Free kick that came in. Great 1-2 down this right-hand side with McAnuff. I thought personally that was a foul. The referee could quite easily have given that. He plays the advantage. Great skill from Matejowski. Curls it. Can't quite get the direction.
Jack Hobbs. And that was a foul by Matejowski. It will be a free kick.
Neat, tidy player, isn't he? Turns very, very quickly.
Waghorn. They're not going to make life easy for the man-made Reading vice-captain at the start of the season, wearing the armband tonight, Alex Pearce. Here's Rashak now. Well, Church had made the run. Rashak held on to it. More runners this time, Matejowski. He has McAnuff to his right. Could be a great opening this for Reading if they get it right. And McAnuff decided to just take his time, and with it, the opportunity just ebbed away.
Well, you can see the frustration on his teammates' faces because he's got a great chance. Look at the numbers that Reading have got in the box there. They've got a man over at the very far post. Puts his arms in the air because he can't be found. When you get opportunities like that, really got to take advantage of them.
Howard with the Reading corner. Wheel could punch it, only as far as McAnuff. Brian Howard again. Good angle if he can get this right, and he couldn't. Suddenly Fryatt can hold under pressure from Tab, but not for long. Matejowski. Rajak. Nielsen steps in, and Fryatt can stride away. Good tempo to the match at the moment, isn't that, Don?
Well, there is. Leicester City are really struggling to keep a hold of this football. Real meaningful effort from Paul Gallagher, didn't it? All the forward momentum at the minute seems to be with Reading, but haven't been able to take advantage of it. You get the feeling when you're down at the bottom in the table, when you get positive momentum going your way in football matches, you've got to score and take advantage of
Rajak. Oh, here's Church! Another chance, and another one goes begging.
Well, it was right on cue, wasn't it? Just saying, you've got to take advantage of it. High ball, Maziak battles, it's poor defending. That's why the flag doesn't go up. Comes off a Leicester defender. Watch this. As it goes back, he's onside. Again, he's just got to hit the target. Got to hit the target from there. It's a golden opportunity. Once again, another one goes a-begging.
Well, this is what Brendan Rodgers has been talking about when he's been saying at times they've been playing some decent football, but haven't got what they deserve. When you get chances against one of the meanest defences in the Championship, you feel you have to take them. It's not for nothing. Leicester have only lost once away from home all season so far. They've drawn 4 of their 6 games.
You're right. Difficult to beat Leicester City, but Reading are getting all the opportunities, but they're not taking advantage of. They're not hitting the target as often as they need to be, especially with the glorious chances. Simon Church's chance there. Those are the chances you're waiting for as a striker, and your manager's waiting for you. You have to hit the target, minimum requirement. Nigel Pearson down there, I don't think he'll be best pleased with his team's application. Sternly-faced. The positive is they're still all square, but very, very easily be at least a couple of goals down, couldn't they?
I mean, as a player, when you're coming into a match and all you're reading about is the turmoil that your opponents are in, does it subconsciously affect you sometimes?
Well, it shouldn't, because you're a professional and you've got to put things like that right out of your brain.
Rashak taking that position in the centre. Church is there as well. Here's Brian Howard. No free kick. Time stood still temporarily. And he does get the free kick this time, Brian Howard.
Persistent. Everybody stopped, didn't they? Brian Howard stopped. He thought he'd been pushed, look, and he realised no whistle had gone and eventually lulls Richie Wellens into giving a free kick away.
Reading momentum maintained, but still without Reading reward. Delivered right in there. Pearce was waiting.
Wayne Brown, brilliant defending. He needed to head this to centre half, and he does. He just stretches his neck and gets the faintest of touches. And that's the thing that keeps him away from Alex Pearce, who's going to head it into the empty net.
Little Reading cluster there. Leicester boys stand off, waiting for the little surge of movement that is imminent. It's well worked, and it's beautifully saved. Absolutely terrific from Wheel to deny Simon Church.
Well, I bet Simon Church wishes he'd struck his previous opportunity as well as this. It's brilliant football, straight off the training ground, and bang, what a strike. And let's give Chris Wheel a lot of credit, because it comes through bodies, gets a good strong hand and turns it around.
I'll try again. A more direct route. Again, it's the head of Brown that is the denying factor for Reading. Bertrand there first. Reading desperate to keep this pressure on and doing a good job of it. Matejowski wayward. Waghorn. Good ball by King to release the pressure. Here is Martin Waghorn. Fryatt makes his move in the middle.
That's good defending. And Bertrand getting across. McAnuff actually getting back and doing the duties.
Wouldn't it just be typical of the way things have been going for Reading after all the good spell, all the chances that it's contained, then to be on the receiving end here. Howard determined to ensure that's not the case. Here's Rashak. Given away somewhat cheaply. Wellens. Oakley. Through to Nielsen. Waghorn. He's just happy to get it away and hope that Bertrand can do the same. It came off Rashak, and it's back here with Leicester and with Fryatt. He did particularly well to get it in. With defensive attention he was enduring.
It's a good little spell for Leicester City. Fryatt did particularly well. Didn't look like he could get that cross in, but somehow squeezed it in.
Robbie Nielsen just stealing a couple of yards there. Sent back by the referee, and Nielsen steals forward again. Here is the Scotsman. And Tab, despite the height advantage he was given away, timed that one perfectly. And here's Joby McAnuff to run at young Ryan McGibbon. Howard, Church, great move. And again, the end product is agonisingly missing for Reading.
Well, you have to take your hats off to them, don't you? Because I figured they'd be pretty low on confidence coming into this, but you wouldn't believe it, this first half performance. Great football. Back-heeled into his path once again. Only little criticism you can have is that he didn't hit the target.
Well, a Brendan Rodgers was looking for a response, which he obviously was, by making 6 changes, at least 4 of them unenforced. He has got the response here.
I think the first 10 minutes or so were fairly even, but I think we have to all agree that since then it's been Reading who've been the better team. They're not playing like a team low on confidence. We haven't won here for all that time. Only thing missing is that goal.
Matejowski. Tab. Church. He's become more of a regular this season. It was a bit of a surprise when Steve Coppell threw him in from the start in that second leg of the playoff here against Burnley. Well done by 2 wonder goals, really, as their season drifted away from them. Probably in the final analysis, when the goal conceded, had started to drift a little before that. Flick from Friat. Waghorn judged offside.
That's what they're looking for, Leicester. They're looking for the 2 little lads to just link up and look to try and get in behind that Reading defence. They haven't been overly successful at that, and I guess it makes you wonder as time goes on, will Nigel Pearson consider bringing big Steve Howard on? Pose different kinds of problems, won't he?
Right. Wellens. Oh, it's loose by Brown. Can Rajak pounce? That's a let-off. He's been the saviour a couple of times with his head. He very nearly landed. Leicester in it with his boot.
Just a little bit slack, wasn't it? Got away with it.
Waghorn gets there ahead of Pearce. Oakley just behind Friat. Gallagher, McGiven offering support. Friat. Time stood still again for Friat. So he tries to feed his strike partner Waghorn. He'll settle for the corner. Last couple of minutes of the first half now.
Well, the last thing Reading can afford to do, after dominating really the first half for large spells, is to concede from a set piece just before half time. Really would be heartbreaking for them.
The damage may be irreparable given their recent record of going behind. Oakley will take. Glanced away by Rajak. Wellens. Oakley went for power. And trying to cut it off at source. A corner is conceded. It's going to be a nervy last minute here of this first half.
It is. Richie Wellens played a fantastic ball out to Matt Oakley there with a beautiful volley. Skipper's got another chance here. A bit of quality.
Brown in there, King in there, Jack Hobbs forward from the back as well. And it's glanced in by Waghorn. The goal that Reading have been dreading. And Martin Waghorn in the last minute of the first half gives Leicester City the lead.
Well, you almost felt that it was going to come. He just feints a little bit, doesn't he? Gets ahead of his marker. Sigurdsson, nowhere near him really, truth be told. He gets just the perfect contact to get the direction and the trajectory. The ball loops over the keeper, and that's the only place he possibly could have put that header and scored. It's a brilliant, brilliant header, but you have to say the defending just left a little bit to be desired. I wonder how often we've heard that at the Majewski from Reading.
And the side that have only scored twice here this season must score, or it'll be a fourth successive defeat. Could get worse here, it's Bryant. Federici with a vital save. A second would surely have taken it away from Reading. Rasiak. Matejowski. Well, he couldn't decide what to do, so he did nothing.
Well, Matty Fryatt, this was a chance. Richie Wellens puts him through, and you're just waiting and waiting. Let's give Federici credit, because he doesn't go to ground. Stands up, doesn't he? Makes himself big.
Gallagher. Nielsen. They're able to wait for the half-time whistle now, Reading. McAnuff. Given took him on toe-to-toe and prevailed. Bertrand. Howard. Brian Howard. Rashak wants it. Here's Church, who comes short. And battled by King. Well, they made most of the running, Reading, but it's an all too familiar tale of woe. They trail here at half-time, having really dominated that first half, but they switched off. Martin Waghorn didn't. He claimed his third of the season, and the sad tale of the tape is that Reading trail Leicester here by 1-0 at half-time.
And now we know why Reading are in the bottom three. Our guests are the commentary manager Chris Coleman and Peter Beagrie. We'll get their thoughts in just a moment. But how many chances do you need? They got close, but not close enough. And then the sucker punch. They only needed one.
Monday night, live.
We'll see Leicester again on Friday night when they're up against the Championship's form team, QPR, 7:30 Sky Sports 1 and HD1 from Loftus Road. And then Monday night we're at Bramall Lane, Sheffield United against Newcastle, 7:30 Sky Sports 1 and HD1. At the Medeski Stadium this evening, Reading looking for their first home win since January. That's 9 months. Trail here to Leicester by 1-0. Watched by Peter Beagrie and the Coventry City manager Chris Coleman, whose side take on Reading next this weekend. Do you feel for them, Chris?
You have to. You know, they don't deserve to be behind by any stretch of the imagination. They've pretty much bossed the first 45 minutes for long periods. They've done everything but score. The problem is, Peter and I, we said, if they don't score when they were on top, we just felt that Leicester, even if they went in 0-0, Leicester would have been better second half. They've got sucker punched there. They didn't deserve to be 1-0 down, but in all credit to Leicester, they hang on in there, and it goes to show what, you know, what's the lad that scored? Waghorn, is it? You know, Waghorn. He's not the biggest, but it's a great delivery, and he timed his run perfectly well. Bang, goal.
We'll have a look at that in just a minute. But Peter, if the half was 40 minutes long, Brendan Rodgers has probably been pretty happy.
He would have been, and we were saying at the start, you know, about how many changes that he'd made, but in a way that might have helped them, because they weren't didn't think that they were accountable for the other results. Maybe it's like that, so they've come in and been selfish as footballers are. It's not my fault. Put me in, give me a chance, and they've played really, really well. And probably in Matejowski, is it, in midfield? He's been the most creative force, and a host of chances, and we see this first one here from Joby McAnuff getting involved with Church there, whose movement's been great. The first one just comes off the post, terribly unlucky, but there's a right-footed player trying to, you know, get a left-footed shot away.
We've seen some misses this weekend. That has to be amongst them, doesn't it?
Well, I just think he should have put that in the opposite corner, left foot, just onto the keeper's left. But consistently, Church and Raziak have been getting in behind this Leicester defence. They've been timing their runs excellently, very well. And I just think it's that finish that they're lacking, maybe a bit of confidence. If Reading worked on that in the training ground,
that would have been goal of the season.
That's what Shane Long was on about. That's why they found it so enjoyable. But you know, the sucker punch, it was always coming, wasn't it? You know,
you just felt
air
it,
of inevitability. You know, Leicester were going to get a chance, and you do get the rub of the green really when you're up there and you're playing well. And it's great movement. He just comes off his marker, and what he does was he assesses the flight better than anybody else and gets enough purchase to take it towards the far post and away from the keeper.
But if there is a man on the back post, he clears that every day of the week, Chris, doesn't he?
Yeah, I like to have a man on the back post. The only way we don't have a man on the back post, if there's a short corner, then the near fella at the near post goes out, and then the fella at the back post comes to the front post. But that's just me. Maybe I'm an ex-defender, and I like to have all my players back to make sure we deal with the set play. But like I said, great delivery, and the lad there, where going, is attack the ball with a bit of meaning. Not the biggest, but great timing, great goal.
His second goal in a Leicester shirt could have been worse as well. Matt Fry had a great chance just before half-time. But Reading, the lowest scorers in all 4 divisions at home, just 2, have some work to do now. Brendan Rodgers, what words of inspiration can he find in this interval?
Monday night, live.
Last 16 of the Carling Cup this week. Mark Robins, Barnsley face Manchester United. 7:30 Sky Sports 2 and HD 2. And then Wednesday night, an earlier start time, 7 o'clock for Arsenal Liverpool, Sky Sports 1 and HD 1. Well, it's been lively here at the Umadejski Stadium, Leicester City in town, and Reading desperate to find a win, their first since January. And they cannot argue about the chances they've created as well. Joby McAnuff with that one. Simon Church has had plenty as well. Got himself into good positions. But, well, you just felt it was coming. And you feel that Leicester will only get better as well. 1-0, the scoreline. Martin Waghorn, the only goal. Chris Coleman, if you've lost your last 3, you've bossed the first half, and you still trail 1-0 at half-time, what do you say to your players?
I think on the back of that performance, I think Brendan will go in and he'll concentrate on the positives. And there's been a lot of positives. They've got to keep their confidence, they've got to keep the chins up. I think Leicester will be better this half, if I'm honest with you. I've seen them play a lot better, but for Reading, they've got to keep doing what they're doing because it was working for you know, in the main. They just lack that goal and that killer instinct.
Big test for him now, this, isn't it, Peter?
Yeah, it is, but it's more of the same. The 2 wide players, even though they haven't had a lot of the ball, have stretched the Leicester defence, and it's allowed Raziak and Church in particular, who's got good movement, the opportunity to get chances and get in down the side of them.
Let's get back then to Don and Bill.
So 6 goals conceded by Leicester in 6 games away from home this season. 3 of them came in 1 game. It's a tall task for anyone to break down Nigel Pearson's side, let alone Reading, after making that first half running. And they find it within themselves to go again. As was just said, Don, you do feel that Leicester won't be quite as generous as they were in that first period.
Well, I personally think that Nigel Pearson would have had Leicester in and given them a right dressing down, because as the lads were saying, really, we've all seen Leicester play so much better. They got away with 1 or 2 glaring Reading misses, and then they took their chance when it came along. So there's better to come from Leicester, but the last thing that Reading can afford to do is feel sorry for themselves, and that's what I think the point that Brendan Rodgers will be making. They were the better team. They cannot afford to come out here in the second half and feel sorry for themselves.
Well, he's kept the same side, resisted whatever urge there was to make changes at half-time. Side that played so well for 40 minutes, really, of the match. That's just it, isn't it, as we touched on in the first half. You concede almost 2 goals a game, which is what Reading have been doing. It's mightily hard, whatever you do at the other end, to keep picking up points. So Reading are staring down the barrel of 3 defeats in a row coming into this. And number 4 is very much in the offing unless they can turn this round. Not just this match, but the general downward spiral they've been on recently. Waghorn, the goal scorer, trying to put pressure on Pearce. One thing you notice reading the Reading sections of tonight's match programme, the word confidence crops up time and time again, 3 or 4 times in Brendan Rodgers' notes. The players talk about it as well. Brendan Rodgers saying it's a commodity that can't be bought or bottled. Something you have to almost crowbar back into your game, and the only way to do it is to win matches. It's a vicious circle.
It is a vicious circle. It is the single most important thing in sport, isn't it? Confidence. And when you're losing week in, week out, even when you play well and things aren't going your well, it's very, very easy to feel a little bit sorry for yourself. And like I said, that's what the last thing that these Reading players can afford, because they did enough in that first half to show that they can certainly create chances. What they have to do better in the second half is convert them.
Well, by Andy King, Reading free kick. Here's Howard. Ryan Bertrand is forward from full-back. Oakley is back with him. Bertrand battles away, but it'll be Oakley who can chip up towards the halfway line. That's beautifully brought down by Matejowski. Tidy touches as well. Rajak took all the sting out of that move. Looked like it would come through to Church, and it could continue. And now here come Leicester. Gallagher. Now Reading's woes are of secondary concern to Leicester as McGiven comes forward. They have 5th place in the Coca-Cola Championship in their sights. It's theirs tonight above Bristol City on goal difference if they can hold on to or improve on this scoreline.
That's a nice character to have, isn't it? 5th place, newly promoted team.
And by McGiven, should be Federici's, and is. No clean sheets in 8 now for the Australian with the Italian name in the Reading goal. 10 goals conceded in 4. Bertrand. Pearce. Waghorn. Nearly came to fry it. J-Tab. McAnuff. Breezes beyond McGiven. Good run by McAnuff. Church! It licked the side netting on the way past. Another chance for Simon Church.
Well, his movement was excellent to find the space. McAnuff does brilliant, doesn't he? Skins McGiven, and then he's all about finding the space and getting his head up. And look at Simon Church, stops going in and checks out. And that gives him the space for McAnuff to find him. And when he finds him, he's trying to wrap his foot around the ball and curl it into that near post. And once again, the biggest criticism is it doesn't hit the target.
Offside against Matty Fryatt. They've got to look for the positives, and the positive for Reading on that occasion is that it's the first big chance of the second half, the like of which they've created so many in the first.
I like their movement, I have to say. The movement has been excellent from the wide players and a couple of boys up front. Pulled Leicester City all over the place and caused them problems.
Oakley, chase for Waghorn. Here's the pace of Fryatt. Fryatt's in here. Federici stood big. Howard. Oh, when Fryatt is through like that, Fryatt usually scores.
Well, that's 2 now. I bet your bottom dollar if he gets another one. I'd fancy him to stick it away, Matty Fryatt.
He's in such red-hot form up until recently. 5 goals without a game now, Matty Fryatt. 5 in his previous 3. Offside flag there to frustrate Reading.
You wonder, don't you? It's almost deja vu. This ball is played forward, and either Waghorn or Fryatt, they're bearing down on, I think it's Alex Pearce. Once he gets the touch, you fancy the net perhaps to be bulging. But what Federici does well again is he stands up, spreads himself big. It's good goalkeeping. Yes, perhaps Matty Fryatt, you'd fancy him to score, but let's give the goalkeeper credit. It's twice now.
The good work that they've done in an attacking sense, Reading. The concern will be that Leicester haven't had to do too much, haven't had to dig too deep, because every time they go forward, they do look like they could score.
Again, that wasn't particularly difficult, was it, to get in behind the Reading defence, and they didn't allow them in behind in most of the first half, and then right in the very last seconds, Matty Fryatt perhaps could have made it 2-0, and once again, it's a couple of times now, not too long a distance, that they've managed to get in behind that Reading defence. Still finely poised though.
One goal, the damage is far from terminal for Reading. And on the flip side, the points are far from safe for Leicester. Nielsen got the touch in. The offside flag was up anyway. It's tended to result in Reading getting something out of recent meetings with Leicester. We mentioned that draw where they secured their promotion under Steve Coppell to the Premier League. That was at the Walkers Stadium. They won here that same season in the Championship. Kevin Doyle and Brynjar Gunnarsson, who's still at the club, one of the few remaining players from that successful side that went up and stayed up largely. Will takes command. That's Oakley. And that's J-Tab. Brown. Gallagher. Waghorn. Gallagher. Nearly back to Waghorn. Marek Natajoski, who has caps for his country, but due to indiscretions while on international duty, looks like those days are numbered. There he is, showing touches of real quality tonight at times, hasn't it? Howard. Bertrand. And Rashak. Not beyond Hobbs. The free kick is given.
Good refereeing. Steve Hill tried very hard to play an advantage there. Recognised Raziak was fouled by Hobbs. Once the ball didn't get through, tried to allow it to get through to Bertrand, but once it didn't, pulled it back. Good refereeing.
Met and away by Leicester. Sigurdsson, that's a good looking ball. And again, they show why they have been so hard to beat, both home and away in fact this season. Just one defeat away, one defeat at home. It's at the hands of Preston. Same side against which Reading have got their only recent victory. They're only in their last 8 outings. Howard. Bertrand. Brian Howard. Sigurdsson. Blocked by Brown. McAnuff. Reading can keep asking questions here. It's away, not convincingly so. And back comes Wellens with some good work. But again, Reading can come.
Hound them out, didn't they? That's the defenders working so hard to keep this clean sheet intact. Sheep will take the 3 points.
They do seem to be in a slightly less generous mood in this second half, Leicester, don't they? They've got in once with that Church effort, but more their normal selves. McAnuff. Teliowski gave it away rather cheaply. Oakley attempt not to do the same. Here's Fryatt. Gallagher wants it. Here he is. McGiven, his second start for the club on loan from Manchester City. Gallagher, an offside flag against Matt Bryant. King, Andy King. Oakley, now Nielsen. Through Sigurdsson, Reading will try to turn defence into attack. Pressure on Pratt, which leads to the inevitable free kick. Changes afoot for Leicester City. They look like they're ready to replace their strike force. Considerable experience and physical presence of Steve Howard. DJ Campbell.
Very good options, aren't they? Bring off the bench at this level.
Needs to get that. McGiven. Pratt. Oakley. McGiven. Just run away, giving Nigel Pearson a chance to make his double switch. And the top scorer is withdrawn. And so we have to say the drought goes on for Matt Bryant. It's without a goal in 6 games. It'll start to flow again soon, no doubt, but not tonight, and that is to Reading's relief, I'm sure. How much relief is questionable, because even though he doesn't have the goals, there's so much more about Stephen Howard that'll worry this young Reading defence. The scorer of the goal that separates the sides, Martin Waghorn, is enjoying his time on loan from Sunderland, just as much as the fans are enjoying the goal he scored tonight. I've seen a lot of DJ Campbell recently at the Walkers Stadium. He's coming in from the cold. Out on loan a couple of times recently. It's his 3rd substitute appearance in the last 4 games now, so starting to force his way back into the reckoning slowly. And they clearly felt, the Reading supporters, if not the players, there was a foul there on Church. Sigurdsson. Seeing him get forward a little more in this second half. Howard. Pearce. Hobbs turned back into trouble and into Rajak. Whelan's adamant he got the ball and the referee agreed with him. Nielsen. Gallagher now, looking to release DJ Campbell. Back scurries tap. Not the most convincing Federici clearance. And Oakley slightly bemused as he was penalised there.
And DJ Campbell, you know, he's going to play on the shoulder of the last defender and try and get in behind Reading. We'll be hoping for one of the couple of opportunities that Matty Fryer passed up.
Tab. Sigurdsson, a young man from Reykjavik. Rashak, Bertrand into the box. Oh, it was on a plate for someone, McAnuff, and again, unbelievably no one there to take what was really a gift. Tab. Matejowski. As a former striker, Don, what do you make of those two?
Wow, incredible. It's brilliant play, isn't it? Raziak and gets Bertrand in. Plays a great ball across, and all the way across, and Given misses his kick, Mackinoff helps it back in, and it's the boys on the edge of the area who possibly should be anticipating that cutback. And you're right, if they had done, they would have had a tap-in. It gets ever more frustrating for Reading.
Again, everything is right up until that killer moment. First time that Keith Hill, the referee's yellow card, has come out tonight, and it is a gift for Marek Matejowski.
Like you're saying, he's left him no choice. Just a little pull and a little kick and a little nibble. I just think it's perhaps a little culmination of 3 or 4 little niggly fouls, and that's what the referees booked him for.
Howard's header, and you can be sure that the likes of Wellens and King will be anticipating the knockdowns that he will win more often than not. Hobbs penalised this time. Rajat wants to take it quickly. They decide to send forward a few more reinforcements. Giving Leicester a chance to get a few more back. Stephen Howard coming to help out defensively.
Carved so many chances out, haven't they, from open play, Reading? Is it going to be a set piece that gets them back in this game?
Howard to deliver this one. That's where it started with Brian Howard. Matejowski now. Howard. Bertrand. Awkward one to control. Rajak managed to crane his neck to get it back in there.
Just a smidgen behind Simon Church, isn't it? Ball in, and Raziak, you see what he's trying to do, trying to glance that down to Simon Church. Can't quite get it down.
Well, we've just seen a double change from Leicester. Brendan Rodgers responds in like. Shane Long, now fully fledged Republic of Ireland international, comes on to replace the young Welsh international. And Jimmy Kebe, who plays his international football for Mali, places Sigurdsson. Change in personnel, Don. Seeing a change in formation and approach as well here from Brendan Rodgers by the look of things.
Yeah, I think Jimmy Kebe will go out on that right-hand side, try and use his pace. Toby Mackinoff has come to this left-hand side. It looks like they're going to go 4-4-2.
Matejowski in the heart of that 4-4-2. Gallagher. Kebe. Tidy first contribution from Jimmy Kebe. Seemed to be a nudge there from Pearce.
Again, you know that Stephen Howard is going to stay strong. He's going to get his body between you and the ball and any kind of contact. Referees are going to give free kicks for that.
Mills. Interception by McGibbon. Richie Wellens. Pearce got there. Campbell won't give it up. Important that Bertrand came across to get it out.
It's just got a slightly more open feel to it, hasn't it? Reading are going to have to gamble. That may well just leave themselves open to that counter-attack.
Wellens and King, they've got players who can open them up for sure. McGibbon. Campbell finding space on the edge of the box. Oh, nearly finding a way past Mills. Campbell, McGibbon.
Steve Howard's on the far post being marked by the fullback.
Fortunately for Reading, that's not a contest that plays itself out this time. There's the fullback in question, Bertrand. Howard. Pressured by Oakley, in comes Nielsen. Now Shane Long. He's able to steal it away. He's taken a blow though. Here's Howard. Allow Gallagher to do more of the running for him. He's set off Howard one way, DJ Campbell the other. Just about a quarter of this contest remaining now. And if it was a points decision, obviously of their first half performance, Reading would probably be narrowly ahead, but it's not that, it's all about being clinical. And Leicester, when that chance came in the first half from the set piece, courtesy of perhaps some slightly generous Reading defending, they took it. Waghorn's goal, Leicester's lead, and it's Reading who have to do something about it. Maybe now, Long.
Nice sharp pass on, isn't it? Between the two strikers. A little bit of head tennis, but Laziak gets it into Long eventually. It's worth a go, isn't it? It's always leaning back and it's pretty high in the end, but again, a little bit more positivity.
He came back in to start against Queen's Park Rangers. That was his first start since August. He's one of those who, with the departures, particularly of Kevin Doyle, Brendan Rodgers would have been looking to step up to the plate. Another goal this season. Second yellow card for Reading here, that's Mills.
Well, Matt Mills feels that he's being fouled. He's the one that's unlucky not to get the free kick, but once the referee doesn't give it, deliberate trip, only ever going to be one outcome, and that's a yellow card.
Welcome to life playing against Steve Howard. Wellens. Going to get Gallagher in behind, Federici knew it. Two goals scored here in 6 games in the league this season up to today. Chances to score a dozen here in the match almost, but still the goal eludes Reading. Still Leicester frustrate them. Kebe's header, so too that of Brown. Jimmy Kebe.
And once again, everything is really good until the final execution of the shot. Knocks it down, held up well, and it comes back to him. The less said about that, the better, really. Incredible statistic, isn't it? 2 home goals in, is it 6 home games, and stretching further back to 14 games that they've gone without winning. I think they've only scored 5 goals here, which is remarkable.
Failing to score in 10 of the last 14. It's a problem that Leicester have had recently. Scoring goals, they tend to be very efficient. That's when you have 3 clean sheets in your last 4 games. Goals you score tend to bring you points, and plenty of them. The scoreline will tell you that Reading are down in that respect, but encouraging for Brendan Rodgers is that heads haven't gone down as they have done sometimes in the past when they've gone behind. They keep plugging away. if the next goal does come. It's so vital for Reading that it's not a Leicester one, because there would surely be no way back for that. Unrolls Matejowski here.
And he gets this ball trapped between his feet, doesn't he? Sits on it almost, and free given there. Perhaps a drop ball, good old-fashioned drop ball. He really gets control of the ball, does he?
There's the little boot on the hand that Matejowski was trying to draw the referee's attention to. Brian Howard. Rajek's touch, forces in wide, he finds Kebe. Good early ball in. Brown is on hand again. Howard. Deflected!
How often do you see deflected shots like that end up in the back of the net? I guess it's the old shenanigans when you're down there at the bottom again. Ball breaks to him, it's a super strike, isn't it? And Wayne Brown puts his head on the line like good defenders should.
Wayne Brown over something. And that was this situation from that very corner that Reading fell behind. And they level it up with a delivery immediately like that. No chance taken though by Matt Oakley.
Need a quality delivery, he's better than that, Brian Howard.
DJ Campbell trying to get that. McAnuff, Pearce, now Long, Rachak.
I don't know whether he lost his bearings, but very, very ambitious attempt, isn't it? Once again, played it really well. The ball's flicked into him. Doesn't know quite where he's at.
Howard wins again. Oh, a slip from Bertrand. That'll be a relief that the flag was up against Campbell.
That's what Nigel Pearson's looking for, isn't it? Ball up to Stephen Howard. A little knock down for DJ Campbell's pace. Hasn't quite materialised yet. See, second half, it's been more of the same, hasn't it? They've absolutely dominated the football, created one or two chances, just not been able to hit the target too often.
From Leicester's point of view, that, and look at this as the classic away performance. Soak up the pressure when it comes, use your luck when it's on the scene as well, and get your goal at a crucial time, just before half-time. Not one that Pearce will want to see replayed again and again.
Well, look at that, Reading dominating the attempts, but how many times have they worked Chris Wheel? Well, the answer is 3, and that's less than Leicester, who have had half the attempts just about, and that tells you everything you need to know about this match.
Nielsen. It's not dealt with, and DJ Campbell saw it go wide. Came off a defender as well.
It's just a long throw, just beats everybody. Doesn't actually do anything, does he, DJ Campbell? Doesn't have to move to lose his marker. Just strolls in, ends up on the volley. Lucky that J-Tab was there just to get part of his anatomy in front of that.
Oakley will take the corner. Nervous hush around Medeski as he does it. Matejowski. Kebe. J-Tab. Matejowski. parry out through Mills. And the Leicester pressing means they go back to go forward again. Hobbs. Pearce. Bertrand. Just getting to the time of the game when Reading perhaps need to try and force the issue a little more. Pepe has picked out perfectly. 3 in the middle, if he can pick them out. And McGibbon happy to deflect it behind.
Oh, what a ball out to him that was. Pinged fully 60 yards. No ball, I think it's Matthew Mills. Super pass. They just can't put the ball into the box. Corner though.
Another chance for Brian Howard to set his rangefinder. Try a bit of variety here and go short. A glance to Mills. Came at him quick and he ballooned it over.
You're right, it did come at him quick. I guess really perhaps if you're Reading, you'd fancy seeing a striker on the end of this. Really has to be really quick reactions, and he does react. He just can't keep the ball down. It zips off the wet turf. He just can't get that down. It's no more than half a chance.
He has got a couple for Reading this season. But them ahead away at West Bromwich Albion before the Baggies bit back. And then into another defeat. It was 3-1. 4-1 away at Queen's Park Rangers. Well, it's been much more of a contest here. But 1-0. It's the same return for Reading, and that's no points. At the very least, Leicester can consider that their unbeaten run will continue here. It looks for all the world like back-to-back wins going to be in their pocket as well.
And DJ Campbell's just trying to spring the offside track. Never quite gets himself back onside.
Tab. Rain falling quite hard now over the Royal County of Berkshire. Among the managers here tonight is the Barnsley boss, Mark Robbins, taking time out of his preparations for tomorrow night's Carling Cup tie against Manchester United. See it with us 7:30 on Sky Sports 2 and HD 2. And Wednesday, Arsenal and their young guns against Liverpool. Always an entertaining one. That's 7 o'clock, Sky Sports 1 and HD 1. Oakley. Gallagher, offside against DJ Campbell.
Well, the one thing you know about DJ Campbell is he is going to stray offside, but he's just looking for that one time. Just that one time where he times the run correctly. He's very close to doing it there. He's just a smidgen ahead of the ball, but he'll keep getting in there.
That's Will Brown at the other end. Given away. Another assured performance by the youngster at left back. That's why he's kept his place ahead of Bruno Berner, the Swiss international, who's among the Leicester subs tonight. Matejowski. Well, he's caught up this time, McGibbon. Kebe. Rajak! Same old story.
Oh, would you believe it? I don't think anybody in the ground can believe this. It's a brilliant ball, isn't it? Matejowski plays it inside the fullback. Jimmy Kebe does everything. Gets it square. Hobbs misses his kick. Rajak can't capitalise.
Comes Wheel, holds on well under slippery conditions.
He relieves the pressure on his defenders, doesn't he? Every time he plucks a cross or a free kick or a corner out the air like that.
He's been a good signing though. It's almost a revolving door of goalkeepers at Leicester last season. Your pal Mike Stow to deal with. He's the goalkeeping coach at Leicester. 5, I think, they used in the league last season. Many they got in on loan seemed to get injured or be reclaimed by their clubs. Sierra's a steady presence at the back. He's closing in. Chris Wheel And another clean sheet, his 4th in 5 games. Not there yet, not by a long shot though. The law of averages, despite all Reading's bad luck, would surely suggest one of these chances that they're making, and there have been a hatful here throughout the match, will go in by fair means or foul. A glance from Rashak.
Getting into that time of the match where desperate needs call for desperate measures. Reading almost playing with a front 4 now, aren't they? They're not asking any of their forward players to do any tracking back.
Bertrand. Howard. Matejowski. Howard. Wayward by McAnuff. Well, Howard has run it back superbly. He couldn't pick the pass though. They're giving everything. They could not be giving more out there, these Reading players, could they?
Can't fault their effort and their commitment. Just been in that last third of the pitch where it's been the difference.
You can fault their finishing though, that's the problem.
You can, yeah.
There's still time for them to make a finish to remember here. King. Howard. Here's Gallagher. Oakley. The Leicester skipper. To Nielsen, one of the summer acquisitions. And Robbie Nielsen, who has had a contract at Hearts last summer. One of several Scots to move from the SPL to the Championship. And speaking of Scots, it's time for Paul Gallagher to lead. You would think this is a case of Nigel Pearson trying to shut up shop somewhat. Byrne is certainly more defensively minded than Paul Gallagher, who started off his career as a striker largely. Five minutes remain, plus added time. Here's Jay Tabb for Reading. Brian Howard, Kebe outside him. Kebe goes for power, and Hobbs was there.
To say that's a brilliant ball in, you know, and fizzed into that near post. Well, he would have expected one of his strikers to be flying.
They'll try and provide them with something else to feed on here. Kebe, great run, cut back, looking for Long, only finding Brown. Oakley, Nielsen, Campbell,
They'll take their time now, Leicester City. You can't blame them. It's been a backs against the wall job, hasn't it? Got that all-important goal.
A lesson for Reading in ruthlessness and efficiency. They've dominated the game, simply dominated it in terms of possession and chances created. One chance taken is all it will take on the look of things for Leicester. Here's Burner, another space for him to run into. Bruno Burner goes down under the challenge, and the referee felt there was no case to answer either way. Tabb, Loose ball. Burner's got it back. Howard. Leicester close in. First win here in 6 years. Oakley.
Well, that's what Reading are open to, aren't it? Because they're committing bodies forward, open to getting caught with a sucker punch, and they very nearly do. It's great movement, and Matt Oakley just cuts inside on his left. You can see what he's trying to do. And that ball into the far corner, doesn't quite wrap his foot around enough.
Tab. Getting to desperation stakes for Reading. Home winless run looks like stretching from January to November now. Ipswich Town, their next guests here on November the 7th. Between that, a trip to Chris Coleman's Coventry City. That's on Halloween. As for Leicester, you can see them live on Friday against Queen's Park Rangers. Should be a fascinating match between two informed sides in the Championship. Jimmy Cabet. This wouldn't sit for him to take on the shot, so back they come to Tab. Now Matejowski. Leicester massed in defence, looking organised. Howard away. Oakley. And Howard gives DJ Campbell something to chase. Bertrand got there. McAnuff. Last minute now. It was in the last minute of the first that Reading went behind and Leicester took the lead. Something's got to happen quickly here. Brian Howard going into the book for that challenge on Nielsen.
Well, it's harsh. I think we're about to see it's a perfectly timed tackle. Brian Howard gets the ball there, look, deflects it. I think the assistant referee should spot this, because I'm pretty convinced Brian Howard gets his foot on the ball just there, pokes it away for a throw-in. From where the referee's standing, I can half understand. It's difficult for him to see that little nick, but that's where, as a team, I think the assistant referee has got to be the one.
Howard with the little touch. Here's DJ Campbell. Mills stood his ground. And they've got the corner, Leicester.
It's just the confusion. Mills is trying to let this run through, but DJ Campbell keeps pestering him. Comes off the big centre half. Good decision.
And into the 3 added minutes we go. That's how long it is until Leicester can rubber stamp 3 added points to their burgeoning tally this season. Impressive return to this level. Oakley's corner. The back of Howard's head. Here's King. Takes it on. Federici. Very nearly forced to make the save, but it drifted just wide.
Well, we've seen Andy King strike them in from here before, haven't we? Just gets it, sets it up on his right. It's a short little backlift, isn't it? But flies off the boot.
Rajak got it beyond Brown, but not McGibbon. Howard. Another goal so far this season. Fired into a little cluster of bodies. Howard. McAnuff. Here's Howard. Kebe hugging the touchline on Reading's right. Well, it's King back there to sweep it clear. Tumbled rather tamely.
Strong defending, isn't it? Robbie Nielsen stood his ground, made sure Raziak wasn't going to get on the end of that. Defended well, haven't they? And we wouldn't have expected anything less of Leicester City. Still don't remember Chris Wheel having too many worldy saves to have to make, though. It's all a tale of Reading missing the target with their best chances.
And from the heights of 8th in the Premier League, a couple of seasons on, they remain in the bottom 3 of the Coca-Cola Championship. The new manager finding life tough as he adapts to the Medeski Stadium. Former youth coach here, of course, Brendan Rodgers, but in the hot seat. He's certainly feeling the heat now. Wellens. Oakley. It's a good blend they've got across the park, isn't it, Leicester? Here's Wellens. Richie Wellens. Now Howard. A second would have been cruel, but it was very nearly a reality.
Well, he's still waiting for his first goal of the season, isn't he? Which is hard to believe, a quarter of the season in, Steve Howard. I don't think he's going to come much closer than this. It's a pure strike across the face of the goal. This is the far post by a whisker.
In the 4th minute of added time now. They tried from start to finish. And, as we said before, in terms of response, in terms of application, he could not have wanted for more. But the chances came and the chances went, and the story is the same for Reading. 4 consecutive defeats for Leicester City and Nigel Pearson. It's a lovely flight up the table into the top 5, courtesy of on-loan Sunderland striker Martin Waghorn, whose goal in the last minute of the first half was enough to separate the sides, put smiles on Leicester faces and pile on the pain for Reading. Final score, Reading 0, Leicester City 1.
And that miserable home record just stretches on and on. Already the worst in their history. It's now 15 and counting without victory. Can't fault them for their effort this evening, and certainly for some of the quality of their build-up play. Just in front of goal, they failed yet again. Just 2 goals here all season. Just 5 in those 15 games. Different story though for Leicester City, up to 5th tonight, and a cluster of teams there on 24 points, and on Friday night they could even join Newcastle on the top on 27. For Reading though, it's a miserable story. Top 3 this time last year, bottom 3 now. The live football continues for you on Friday night, when we will see Leicester again at Loftus Road against QPR. Now those teams right up there. 7:30 Sky Sports 1 and HD1. Then Monday night we go to Bramall Lane for Sheffield United and the leaders Newcastle. 7:30 Sky Sports 1 and HD1. Our guests Peter Beagrie and the Coventry City manager Chris Coleman. They can hardly believe what they've seen here, but now we know why Reading have struggled so much at home. You only had to see the evidence for yourself. We'll get reaction from downstairs when we come back.
Monday night live.
We came here tonight wondering if we'd see Reading win for the first time at home since January. They created chance after chance, and chance after chance went begging. Leicester needed only 1 just before half-time, and that was enough. Let's hear from Martin Waghorn and Matt Oakley with Greg Whelan.
Well, Matt, many congratulations on a good win, but did you enjoy a little bit of good fortune tonight?
Yeah, I think so. Reading gave it a good go tonight and had some decent chances, and our keeper had a few saves to make and we had a few clearances, but we came up with a set piece, and we've been working on set pieces and pleased to get one.
There's little sympathy in professional football, is there? But do you have a little bit for the home team tonight?
Yeah, it's tough for them when they're at the bottom, and sometimes the luck just doesn't happen for you, and it was like that tonight. So we'll take it. We've got 3 points, and we're on a good run. So we'll move on to the next one.
Well, let's grab a quick word with the match winner, the goal scorer. How good is it to score when you did, Martin?
It's excellent. Any time to score is great, but just before the break is even better. Going the lads get lead at half time, fully deserved. I think they piled on a bit of pressure, but we're done well, stuck out and got the win in the end.
Well, that's your third goal in a Leicester City shirt, but your first match winner. Tell us how that felt.
I didn't know that, but excellent. Pleased. Just happy to score goals any time and help the lads, and glad I got the win out today.
Well, Matt, you had a chance to finish the job at the end, didn't you? Should you have done?
I think I should have done. I think the legs got a little bit tired. They're getting old now, so it's difficult playing out there when it's a tough game. So we just didn't take our second chance, and that would probably killed it. But we hung on and clean sheet again, so we're pleased.
And that win takes you up to 5th place in the Championship table. Do you see yourselves as serious promotion contenders?
Well, we'll see. We just, the old cliche, take one game as it comes, but we've got a decent side coming up with QPR. They're scoring a lot of goals, but we're solid and we're keeping clean sheets. So if we can keep doing that and these boys bang it in, then we've got a chance.
To both of you, many congratulations on the win tonight. Well done.
Thank you.
Playing his cards close to his chest, Matt Oakley. I think a few people saw them as possible outsiders. Dark horses this year, Leicester City. They're unbeaten in 5 now. For Reading, it's 4 straight defeats and 15 here now without victory. Our guests this evening have been Peter Beagrie and the commentary manager Chris Coleman, whose side face Reading next. Peter, first of all, did the best side win here tonight?
No. I think ultimately they paid the penalty for, we've said about 15 games, without a win here, and that's because they've only scored 5 goals. And they're incapable of doing what Leicester did tonight. And I know why it was a little bit of good fortune, but that's 4 out of 5 clean sheets. And in that division, if you've got people up the top end who can take the chances, then that's a recipe for success, Dave.
In fact, the only team to score against Leicester in the last 5 games, Coventry City. Can you see why Leicester are where they are and Reading are where they are?
Well, you look at on that 90 minutes, you've got to feel very sorry for Reading, who played very, very well, made a lot of chances. And Matt's right. Matt Oakley just said, when you're at the bottom, sometimes you don't get that little bit of luck. But like Peter's rightly said, if you're keeping 4 or 5 clean sheets in the last 6 or 7 games, and you can nick a goal like that from a set play, you're going to be our team to play against in our league at our standard. And we scored against Leicester, but it was a free kick, Sammy Clingham, from about 25 yards, and they are hard to break down, and that's why they're 5th in the league at the moment.
How key are set pieces in this league? It was the difference tonight again.
Yeah, the debate, isn't it, from a corner? Do you bring everybody back? Do you put 2 men on, 1 man on the front post, 1 on the back? That's why I always have someone at the back post if I can, because if it's a good ball in, it doesn't matter how big you are. If you attack it and your timing's good, and it's a great delivery, and that's a great header, and there's the back of the net. If you've got a man on the post, I know it's hindsight, but if you've got a man on the back post, that doesn't happen.
Why would you not have a man on the back post, Peter?
I don't know. The thing is, Dave, it's infuriating, really. I think as a manager, we're saying that everybody works on him, but there's no excuses not to be marked up, not to be organised, because the ball's gone dead. So you've got that time. It's not like open play. You can forgive if somebody's gone past 2 or 3 people and smashed one in the top corner. You say great skill. When you've got time to organise like that, there's got to be people made accountable. Now, if it's the manager because he's decided not to have someone on the back post, how many times do we see it sneak in? I think it's imperative to have someone on both posts.
Do you get the feeling, Chris, that we could have been here till midnight tonight and we wouldn't have seen Reading score?
I think, they've had such good play. They've had good chances as well. I think when Church was on with Raziak, he made some terrific runs. McAnuff does really well. He goes across the keeper. Now the second chance he gets at it, I think he should go to the keeper's left there. But he's on his wrong foot, so maybe he's gone for safety. But again, strikers in between 2 defenders. He's done everything right. Church, he just dragged it past the post. And this is a great corner. I don't know whether they've worked on that in training. It's fantastic movement. And again, Weaver's pulled off a good save. But they had a lot of chances, a lot of threats in that final third. And when they got in those vital areas, they just couldn't get that ball in the net. I think if they'd have got one, they might have got 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Is this where you feel the lack of confidence, though, Peter?
Well, we say that, but everybody wanted the ball, Dave. They went forward in numbers.
But just
in
that
nobody
final
was
third.
In that final third,
The penalty
you do need a
area.
little bit of luck, but you also need a little bit more work on your technique, a little more, you've got to be a bit more poised, that final ball there. And you don't get that when you're struggling. And, there's a nervousness. And I thought the Reading fans stuck with the team tonight. But this is the perfect example where you don't look at the result. You can't look at the result tonight. You look at the performance. I think that's what Brendel will do, because he played a lot of individual players. It was very brave formation that he picked. And I think it worked.
It did. I think you'll be disappointed that they've lost in that fashion from a set play. Peter's right. When you have a set play given against you, if you're a manager or a coach or the players, you get time to get yourself lined up properly, and then you have to do your job. And if your man gets across you and scores, that's your problem. We don't know what's happening there at the back post, or whether Tabsy's come off it. It looked like he was marking Matty Fry to start with, yeah. So Brendan will be disappointed to play that well and to lose. It'll be hard now for the players. Will be thinking, what are we going to do to win the game?
Presumably, you're playing them next. You'll be practicing set pieces between now and then.
Well, I think all teams at our level, we practice a lot of set plays, because you can good delivery. It's quite physical, our league. If it's a good delivery, then you can have a bit of joy. But that Reading team, to me, they don't like a team that should be in the bottom 3. On the basis of that, I thought they played very, very well tonight.
Wonder what the manager thinks. Here is Brendan Rodgers with Greg Whelan.
Well, Brendan, commiserations. Are you still wondering how you ended up with nothing from that game tonight?
Yeah, no, I thought our performance was outstanding. Apart from that, just that final bit in the box, and that's been the problem, obviously, over the course of the season. But I think you've seen the spirit of the team there, and as I said, some of the qualities in our build-up was very good. So no, we're very disappointed, but as I said, we will go again.
Given your recent results and given where you are in the table, what impact do you fear tonight could have on your players' already brittle confidence?
No, I think there'll be. There's no problem with that. It's obviously disappointing. It's different if you're not playing well, and as I said, the spirit isn't very good and they aren't fighting. I think you've seen tonight that the group's very much together. We just need a wee bit of luck, really, because I think that in a game like that tonight, we'd have got 1 goal, we might have got 3 or 4. But that's just the way it's been, really. As I said, some outstanding play there's been that we just need to finish off. So, but all you can do is just keep working at it. Keep working. The supporters were great tonight. They were encouraging the team, which was great. And as I said, we will keep working. We've got 32 games to go, which is a lot of points to play for, and we feel that once we get that important win, and then hopefully we can go on a wee run.
Looking at the goal that beat you in the end tonight, will you be rethinking the way you defend corners, the ball dropping in at the far post?
No. We switched off. People who know me know exactly that from an outswinging corner, we should have had someone on the back post who wasn't doing his job. And obviously that costs us, and that's what we've said afterwards. You have to take responsibility, and as I said, when you're given a job, and especially at a set piece, and as I said, I've talked about it since I've been in here. That's how I always defend. We always have one guy in the space at the near post, and from an outswinging corner, and one on the back post, and we didn't have the guy on the back post.
You've not been in this position before, have you? Really, as a young manager, as a manager who's learning, do you at this stage have any doubts about your own ability to turn things around?
No, not at all. I think anyone who knows me knows that's the, I'm the total opposite of that. When I went into Watford, I was in a similar situation in relation to the position in the league and the confidence being low. But the supporters stuck, as I said, by me fantastically well there. And as I said, ultimately that gave the spirit to the team, and then obviously we then pushed on. And it'll be exactly the same here. I've got 100% belief in my own ability, of course, and I've proved that in terms of my work over the last 15 years. So for me, it's just a case of keep working hard, working well. They're a terrific bunch here, they're good lads. And as I said, our luck will turn, and when it does, then, as I said, we'll be a threat in this league.
Brendan, thanks for joining us.
Cheers, thank you.
He just needs a patient chairman, doesn't he? Which is not every manager's luxury, Chris.
No, it's not. I think for myself at Coventry, I'm in a good position, and I've got one of them. He sees the bigger picture, and I'm sure the chairman at Reading will. Brendan's good enough to turn it around. Like I said, we play him on Saturday. I've got to be careful what I say, but it's hard, you know, as a manager when you're on a losing streak and you're playing well. Sometimes it's better if you're not playing well and you lose, because then you know what to do to put it right. And Reading have played well tonight, in all fairness, but they've got a poor record here at home. They've had a bad run of results in the last 3 or 4. But like I say, if they played badly tonight, at least they know they can go and they can improve. I think they played very, very, very well tonight. They just, they're a little bit more luck in front of goal and a bit more confidence.
Interesting what he had to say about the goal, Peter, as well, and somebody switching off and not doing their job.
Well, we mentioned that somebody is obviously accountable. He's worked in it, he said there. And to be fair, out of loyalty to the players, he's not dug anybody out on the TV. That'll be in the dressing room. It's the right way to go about it. Honest appraisal for him there. And fundamental error, individual error. And they've lost the game, in a game where they played well. But it's a case of keeping the faith. Some say risk and reward. He risked it with a formation. They didn't get the reward tonight.
We've seen it again, Maria, is how effective are you defensively in your own box, and offensively in the opposition's box. That's what it's about. Effective players win games.
Final word has to go to Leicester, Chris. How far can they go?
Well, I'll be careful because they're Coventry rivals. I have just had my ear bashed there by the Leicester City fans.
That was your fan club
for about 2 hours.
But they're a tough outfit, and Nigel's got a good squad of players if he keeps them fit. And, it's like you start winning, you get into that groove. It's hard to break it. Equally, when you're losing, it's the same. So I think they could be okay, Leicester.
Chris Coleman, Peter Beagrie, thanks for joining us. Great to see you both. Let's have a look at what we have to look forward to on Sky Sports still. The Carling Cup this week, Barnsley and Manchester United, 7:30 Sky Sports 2 and HD2. Mark Robins up against one of his former clubs, of course. Earlier start time on Wednesday for Arsenal, Liverpool, 7 o'clock Sky Sports 1 and HD1. And Time of Our Lives features Coventry's FA Cup winning side of 1987, next here on Sky Sports 1. The Medeski curse carries on. Halloween, though, has come early here tonight. From us all, good evening.